Okay, guys. BA 31, Chapter 2. No, Chapter 2, BA 31, Organizational Behavior. Welcome back. Once again, brought to you by, sponsored by Brooklyn Body Gear, the best underwear money can buy, available on Amazon. Full disclosure, my company. Okay. Chapter 2, we're going to talk about diversity, personality, and values. Remember, in a company, in a corporate environment, there's going to be diversity. Just naturally. We live in a diverse society. Every country is diverse. There's no homogeneous country even today. So there's going to be diversity. And everybody brings their own personalities, and everybody brings their own value to an organization. Is it going to be more difficult to work with people that are different? Of course. This is the point of organizational behavior. So let's talk a little bit about this. Once again, as I discussed before, in Chapter 1, we're going to talk very little about the psychology behind it, why people do what they do. We don't care, I don't care why people do what they do. That's for Psychology 101 in the cluster or wherever. I care about, because of their psychology, how is this going to affect the work environment? Okay? So that's what we're going to be discussing throughout the semester. Okay? So, why is diversity important? Individual differences. Remember, that determines which behaviors are similar, which behaviors are different, and then, because of these individual differences, how it's going to affect the company positively or negatively. Okay? Capitalizing on differences require an understanding of what they are valuing. So this is the point. Understanding people's differences is good. First of all, understanding people's differences is important so that everybody works together, but also understanding their differences makes you understand what they bring to the table for the organization that can bring the organization better performance, brings their core competencies that might be different because of their different background. You understand exactly what I'm saying here? So, capitalizing on their differences. People come with different skills. People come with different competencies. That could be because of their background. How do you utilize that and bring it into the company to increase performance from that person and for the team and for the whole organization itself? Okay? So that, if you remember in Chapter 1, why I said why is diversity important? Because everybody brings different skills. When you bring different skills, then it can only bring the organization higher. Of course, but we're going to talk about later, because people are different, of course there could be more problems. That's known as the diversity consensus dilemma. Okay? Diversity is a good thing for the company, but bad because it's hard to get people to get along. But yet if you have people that are exactly the same, that get along a lot better, and that more homogeneous, then everybody brings the same everybody brings the same one note, the same G minor. Okay? You want people who bring different notes, bring different skills. Okay? So, individual differences, identify where the behavioral tendencies are similar and where they're different. Capitalizing on differences, self-awareness. We talked about self-awareness last chapter. Self-awareness, being aware of your own behavior. Okay? And preferences, styles, biases. Biases, personalities, and so on. Self-awareness. This is who I am. I know going in, I have this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue. This is what I'm good at, this is what I'm bad at, this is what I have my problems. As you can see, I have a very type A personality. In some environments, it wouldn't be a good thing. When I used to be an analyst, a personality like mine was more for sales. But yet I'm a numbers guy. So it was a little bit of a difference. But I knew going in that my personality, how can the company use my personality in the role that I was in? I'll tell you how, and which is what I tried to explain to them, is that I was able to say, because I'm a numbers guy, I can actually explain these numbers and sell these numbers to the organization, I worked for, let's say, Polo, right? I was able to take these numbers that I analyzed and sell these sales plans to the companies that we were selling goods to. So I had credibility because I did the numbers myself. I didn't have to take the numbers and give it to someone else to do the selling. I did the numbers, so I was able to convey what the numbers said. So I was able to use these skills, this personality, which wouldn't be good in the role that I was in, I was able to utilize this for my success. And for all you guys that knew me from before, you know that I don't do this for the money, guys. I made a lot of money before I became a professor. Okay? So capitalizing on diversity, self-awareness, and the awareness of others. Being aware of the other people, of other person's behaviors, their personalities, their biases, right? Their biases, right? So think about it. It's exactly the same thing. Self-awareness. Aware of what my biases, personalities, preferences are, and aware of the other guy's personality, preferences, biases, and so on. Okay? So, what's the components of self? Your self-concept, self-esteem, and self-efficacy. Okay? Self-concept. How do you view yourself? Is self-concept. Self-esteem. Your self-worth. We know about what self-esteem means, right? People's self-worth, how they feel about themselves. And self-efficacy. Your ability to do the job. Okay? So, this is part of your own self-awareness. How good are you at the job? Okay? People know, I'm going to speak about someone by the name of OG. OG, my old girlfriend. Okay? I call her OG. She's the OG, of course. My old girlfriend. She was very conscious of herself. She knew that in some jobs, she wasn't the most qualified for that particular position. She knew her own self-efficacy. Yes, I'm 80% there, not 100%. Okay? Self-concept, but for the people who know me, I have very high self-concept, very high self-esteem, and I believe I'll do anything to make sure I'm good at the job, even if it meant staying up till midnight. When I worked for Guess Jeans, a few years ago, 1947 like I like to say, when I worked for Guess Jeans, I didn't know anything about the position. I used to stay up till midnight in the office trying to learn the job, okay? So that I could be successful and accomplish the task. So, diversity. Her personality comes from two different aspects, right? Your heredity, right? Your physical characteristics, gender, I guess, okay? And your cultural factors, social factors, situational factors affect your personality, the way you were raised, nature and nurture, right? My personality comes a lot, I think genetics has a lot to do with your personality. I'm a lot like my father. In some cases, good and bad, for people who know me, good and bad, maybe more bad than good. And of course your environment, your cultural factors, situational factors determines what your personality is like, okay? What one's personality is like. Valuing. People who value or don't value diversity, okay? Discrimination. We know what discrimination is. It's the opposite of inclusion, right? Opposite of valuing diversity. Okay, discrimination. When you have a bias, right, against women, minorities, it could be against anything. Discrimination could be against anything. It just says against women and minorities. We know that there's discrimination on every level. There's age discrimination. There's racial discrimination. White versus black versus everything, right? There's Asian discrimination. There's all kinds of discrimination against women, old, young, right? Sexual orientation, of course. Okay, so discrimination. Glass ceiling effect, okay? Invisible barrier, mainly for women, that women and minorities raising up to a certain level in a company, they can't go any further. I don't necessarily believe that anymore. Of course, people are going to watch this video and say, what are you, crazy? It's so hard for women to get up to the top. Yes, it's still difficult, but it's not like it was 30 years ago. Things change. Sometimes things change a little more slowly than people want them to change, but things are changing. Hillary Clinton, during her election, she said there's 8 million holes in the glass ceiling when she was going to run for president, right? The glass ceiling. But we know they talk about Sheryl Sandberg. She is the COO of Facebook. She is a woman in a very high position. She wrote a book called Lean In, okay? About being a woman in a high position, okay? Glass ceiling. So understand what glass ceiling is. And race and ethnicity, the value of heterogeneous perspectives within teams and organizations. I said this before. Diversity is a good thing. Different race, different ethnicity bring different skills. When you bring different skills, okay, it brings different perspectives. Different perspectives only raises the company. It doesn't put it down, it raises. Everybody brings something different to the table, okay? In my company, I brought someone who knows how to do graphics, someone who knows how to build a website, someone who knows how to do social media. I don't know any of this stuff. I know one thing. I know supply chain. I know how to run a company. I know how to do the strategy That is my skill set. That is my competency. I don't know how to build a website. I do not know how to work. I know how to post social media, but I don't know the strategy behind social media. I hire someone else to do that. And believe me, they're not like me. They're definitely not like me. They're a lot younger than I am. They understand things better than I do. I know my thing. Okay, so remember, bringing diversity, race, ethnicity, diversity only helps the company. Okay, gender, men and women. Women bring a different set of skills and styles. Okay, we know naturally women are a little more empathetic. So they actually bring a nice skill to the organization. When I was in the fashion industry, it was mostly women. They bring much better skills in some ways than men. And remember, it's all about, once again, what did I say? What's the word? The word is fit. The right person for the job, the right person for the right position in the right company. It's all about fit, okay? Leaking pipeline. Okay, as time goes on, what's the leaking pipeline? The women work their way up to the company, then they become 35, 36, 37, and then they leave, okay? Why do they decrease? Why does it decrease? It's about time to have a kid maybe, or they want to start a family, or they want to get married or something like that. So they go to a high position and they realize they can't do both things, of course. Once again, when it comes to organizational behavior, why would you want to get rid of someone that's really good just because they want to have a kid or they want to get married or whatever? Maybe there's a way that you can keep them in the company, whether working from home or some kind of telecommuting, where you're getting their skills and they don't have to leave. This is the idea of this course. Okay? Sexual orientation, of course, attitudes towards gays and lesbians have been, of course, a lot better. When I was in the fashion industry, there was no such thing as no gay people working or sexual orientation. Okay? None of this really matters as much, but remember, we live in a society where people still have old biases. Okay? I'm in New York here. It's probably not like that as much, but maybe it is. I'm sure there's lawsuits now. But my point is, you always want to bring someone that's the right person for the right job, no matter what their gender is, what their race is, what their sexual orientation is. Okay? Age is age discrimination. You want a diverse workforce. Okay? Some people think that when you're too old, you can't do a certain job. They're ageist, okay? Remember, generational mix provides an excellent example of diversity in action. Older people can sometimes help younger people, okay, in understanding the way things are, okay? I love talking to my dad and my uncles about business. They bring a different take to things. Sometimes it's a little old-fashioned, but let's take the opposite. Someone like me that's, well, older than my students. I talk to many young people. There's a few young people, as a matter of fact, in my company. Everybody is 21 or younger, okay? 21 or younger, except for OG. OG does some stuff for the company, but everybody else, 21 or younger. What I bring to them and what they bring to me, diversity, okay? Disability. Just because you have one disability does not mean you have another disability, okay? And this is the whole point. There shouldn't be any disability discrimination just because of a certain physical disability. Has nothing to do with your mental capacity, okay? A perfect example of this is Stephen Hawking, okay? He was completely in a wheelchair. He was a complete quadriplegic, and yet he was one of the greatest minds, probably of the past century, okay? Any form of impairment is a disability. Okay, any form of handicap. Okay, okay. Now, there's obviously advocates seeking a new definition to remove the word, the stigma of disability. We've come to the point, which of course, I hate to get into politics here, but everybody has a problem with all different words today. Disability just means disabled. Right? Maybe people are going to have a problem with the word disease. What are you going to call it? Sickness? I don't know. Dis, just from the word able, dis, not able. You're not able to do one thing. That does not mean you're not able to do another. I'm not a good basketball player. Am I disabled? Yes, I'm disabled in playing basketball because I'm 5'6". Okay? I don't find that offensive, but that's me personally. Oh, sorry, wait. That's me personally. But what's the word instead of disability now? I don't know what the word is. I don't know. But all I know is that I know they used to have the DL in baseball, the disabled list. They changed that because of this whole, I don't know, the word disabled is offensive. Disabled. He's not able to play baseball because he's injured. So now it's called the IL, the injured list. Okay? This is my little rant on the word disabled. I don't understand. What's going to be the next word? I mean, every word's going to come out of the dictionary. It's going to be 3 pages. So that's my little diatribe on that. Okay? Personality. Combination of characteristics that capture the unique nature of a person. Here are the big 5. We're not going to go too much about personality. We're only going to talk about just some nuances of personality, how it relates to work. Okay? Big 5. Extroversion, being outgoing, right? Agreeableness, being good-natured. Okay, I can get along with most people. Okay, conscientiousness. Okay, responsible. Emotional stability. You can keep it together, so to speak, right? Emotional stability, unworried, secure, relaxed. And of course, open to experience. Some people are, open to new ideas, new adventures. And I'll ask you guys, which ones are these of you? Okay, I'll tell you right now. I'm extrovert. Am I agreeable all the time? I don't know. I'll say I'm not necessarily. I don't know if I'm totally agreeable. Conscientious, yes, I'm conscientious. Emotional stability. Am I the most emotional? I'm not necessarily unworried. I do have a little bit of a worry problem. I definitely feel secure. I'm not necessarily always relaxed, but that's only because probably it goes back. Remember, probably emotional stability had a little to do with extroversion. Once again, I'm not talking about the why of the personality. I'm just talking about which part. And open to experience, of course. I love new experiences. I will do anything once. So, proactive personality. Okay, disposition that identifies whether you are you able to influence the environment. Proactive, from the word proactive, trying to be the first one, right? Proactive versus reactive, right? Okay, show initiative, take action. I'm always looking to take action. And usually in a work environment, you want to be the proactive one, okay? When in Brooklyn Body Gear, I hire a lot of interns to work for Brooklyn Body Gear. I always keep the ones that are the most proactive, okay? And I'm glad to say that I'm very good at figuring out who's going to be proactive and who's not going to be proactive. And usually the ones that are proactive are the ones that are going to keep. And honestly, the ones that are proactive are the ones that are going to be the most successful in their lives, okay? So proactive. How much do you want to take action? Okay, and emotional adjustments. There's type A personality, type B personality. We know type A, right? Always running, always action, always things happening, right? I think I'm a bit of a type A. Type B, a little more relaxed, a little more laid back, right? Okay, which part of you? Some of them, how much, displays unacceptable acts. I don't know if they're unacceptable. I would just say these are part of your orientation, type A or type B, right? Okay, type A or type B. Type A, like I said, running around. Type B, more relaxed. You already know type A personality, what a type A personality is, okay? Stress. We all have stress. The past 3 months, between COVID, we're all stressed. Losing jobs are furloughed. There's different types of stress, and of course people bring stress to the work environment, okay? State of tension, we all know what stress is. Okay, there's 2 kinds of stress. There's work stress and there's life stress. Work and life stress. Okay, the sources of stress. Okay, work stress, life stress. What's the difference? Work stress, the stress that happens because of the job that you have, and life stress, the things that happen in life. Work stress. My boss is bothering me. That's a work stress, right? Sometimes you bring that work stress home, right? Some wives say to you, or husbands say, "What are you bringing this work stress home?" And then there's life stress. The life stress that you bring sometimes to the company. Oh, my wife is having a baby, or we just had a baby, it keeps me up all night. Well, that's your life stress. You're bringing it to work, right? So there's 2 kinds of stress, work and life stress. Okay, work-related stress, task demands, role ambiguity. We're going to talk a lot about role ambiguity. To me, that is probably the number 1 problem in an organization, is not knowing what your job is, what your role is. The company should always make sure that your role is completely clear, understandable, and you know the parameters of what you can do, what you can't do, and what they would allow you to do. Okay? Task demands, role ambiguity, role conflicts. Maybe you have a conflict in the role. Maybe they want you to do something that is a little immoral that you might not want to do. Okay? Ethical dilemmas. Of course, there could be some ethical things that come up. Interpersonal problems. Problems with my coworker. I hate my coworker. Career development. Maybe you're not working your way up in the company, or you're working your way up too fast, and maybe you don't think that you can handle it. And the physical setting. You know, sometimes you're working in an environment where you're too close to the next person, or there's too much noise, or maybe the other guy plays the radio. Physical settings. These could be work stressors. And we have some life stressors, family events, economic difficulties. No matter how hard you're working, you're not making enough money. And of course, any personal problems that you have. Okay? Outcomes of stress. There's two kinds of stress. There's two kinds of outcomes. There's eustress and distress. Okay? Eustress, of course, is a moderate amount of stress. But this kind of stress is a good stress. Eustress is good stress because what does it do? It increases your work effort, stimulating creativity, and encourages greater diligence. Sometimes when I have the eustress, when I have stress, let's say a deadline to make this video. I'm making this video right now, 9:30 in the morning. On Tuesday 9:30, class started yesterday, so there's some eustress. I woke up extra early to get these videos out to you so you can start watching the videos. Okay, that's eustress. So what did I do? I wasn't distressed over it. It made me say, that's it, I'm going to wake up extra early, I'm going to shave, do my hair, get everything together, of course prep for these videos, and that's helped me stimulating creativity and greater diligence. Eustress is a good stress, but then there's distress. Distress is a destructive stress. So eustress is constructive. Distress is destructive. It's dysfunctional. Over amount of stress where you just burn out, right? I just can't take it anymore. Just to tell you, you guys know, I'm going for my MBA at Baruch, okay? And it got to the point where I was doing my stats project for the final, and I spent 2 weeks on it by the last day, and there were some questions that were extra, and you didn't have to do it. Like if you do this, you get this grade. If you do this, blah blah blah. By the time I got to the last day, I had so much distress. I didn't do that last part. It didn't matter because everything is graded depending on what you do. You could do all 10, or you could do 9 or 8 or 7, depending on your grade. So of course I didn't do just the last thing, only because I was distressed. Eustress, the first two weeks with me, eustress. Diligent, doing all the work, got me focused, everything. But by the time the deadline was coming, it got to the point of distress. And I just said, I'm done. I got an A-, wasn't bad. I got an A-. I'll take it. For stats, pretty good. Okay. Coping mechanisms. How do you cope with stress? What's the best way to cope with stress? The best way to do it is to try to not to have stress to begin with. Try to do stress prevention. There are things that you know maybe will stress you. Maybe it's better to just try to know that the stress might be coming, to try to avoid it to begin with, or try to prevent it to begin with. Okay? So you can manage the problem causing the distress, and regulate your emotions. Okay? I know I'm going to get angry. Maybe I just have to calm down a little bit. This is something that I'm not going to really talk about, but you have to figure out what's best for you, and maybe with your manager or whatever, can help you figure out how the stress is affecting your job. Okay? But the best thing is to get some coping mechanisms, and maybe some kind of talking to someone, some kind of a professional help can maybe help stress levels. Okay, personal wellness. A lot of companies have personal wellness programs. Okay? Pursue one's job and career with the support of personal health. Many companies do have this. At Kingsborough, where I work, they have meditation. Meditation could be good for relieving some stress, personal wellness, to have some meditation. I've never taken a meditation, and I'm always teaching during that time. But personal wellness, a health program, maybe a gym. There are many places that have gyms on premises with personal trainers sometimes for personal wellness. Okay, when I was in Macy's, they had a program that if you went to go get a blood test to figure out your health level, you'd get a discount on the health insurance. Discount on the health insurance. Why do they do that? Because they want you to be healthy, to push personal wellness. Okay, and employee assistance programs. Maybe you have issues and problems. They'll help you with these problems. Between me and you, sometimes it's a bit of an issue. I don't know if I would necessarily go to your employer if you have some kind of real problem. Might affect your job. even if it might be confidential, you know, you just never know. So my suggestion is to you guys, if you have any kind of real stress and maybe you need professional help, don't go to your employer about this. Probably do it on your own outside of the company. Okay, but they do have employee assistance programs for maybe other type of things. Yes, I'm not feeling so well. Maybe you can help me with that. Let's see, values. Okay, so everybody comes with their own personal values. Okay, broad preferences can be appropriate course of action, right? And values, your own values are going to influence the way you act. Your actions and your attitudes and your behavior. Okay, those are your values. There are two kinds of values that you have. You have terminal values and instrumental values. Terminal values, how you get to the end. Okay, what are your terminal values? What do I want to be? I want to be a full-time professor at Harvard University, let's just say, right? I'm just making that up, right? No, I don't want to be at Harvard. Oh, wait a minute, unless Harvard wants to hire. We'll talk about it, okay? So, terminal value reflects the person's preferences concerning the ends. How do I get to that end, right? No, what's my end? What do I want? I want a happy family. I want to be a position at Harvard University. I want to be rich and have a house in the suburbs and 2 kids and a dog or whatever, right? That's the terminal value. Instrumental value is how you're going to get the means to the end. How are you going to get to that? Well, I'm going to apply. I'm going to start going on, I don't know, dating apps, and then I'm going to try to work my way up in the company, and maybe I'm going to send out resumes, and then maybe I'm going to start looking for a property to live in a new house. So, instrumental values, how are you going to get there? Terminal values, what are the ends? Remember, some people's instrumental values might be, oh, I want to be rich, I'm going to just rob the next bank. Okay, that's their instrumental value. Remember, values are your attitudes, influence, and remember, your own culture, personality, like we discussed before. Okay, here are some aspects of terminal values. This is all in the video, in the slides you can see, right? Comfortable life, exciting life, beauty, okay, happiness, inner harmony, mature love. Okay, these are terminal, the ends. How am I going to get there? Okay, how am I going to get there? I'm going to be clean, courageous, forgiving, helpful, honest, right? Logical. I'm going to work hard, right? These are the instrumental values to get to your terminal values, right? Okay. These are just some workplace values. I don't care that the guy's name is Maglino. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I just want to give you some examples of some workplace values. Achievement, helping and concern for others. Okay, honesty and fairness. Of course, at Kingsborough, I focus on these 4. I always want achievement for my students, and of course, honesty, fairness, and of course, I help and have plenty of concern. These are the best things to have, especially in a work environment. Okay? Value congruence. What does the word congruent mean? Right? Together. That occurs when individuals have the same values as other people, right? You get along with people that have the same values as you, just naturally, right? You have an affinity, okay? Positive feelings. I have the same values. Both have the same values, okay? And culture values. Culture, okay? Shared way from different society. Remember, understand people's cultures, because everybody's culture comes with their own value system, right? Their own belief systems, their own value systems from different cultures. They could be similar, right? We have them called universal values, but sometimes other cultures might be different and have different values, okay? That is chapter 2, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Read the chapter, do the homework. I love you all.